April 3rd, 2005. 3,000 Linux developers wake up unable to commit code. Their version control system, BitKeeper, just revoked their license overnight. Linus Torvalds has 72 hours before developers abandon ship and fork the entire kernel. So he does what any sane person would do. He locks himself in a room and writes his own version control system from scratch. 10 days later, Git is born. But here's the thing. Git wasn't designed to be easy. It was designed to be fast. Okay, so imagine you're working on a massive group project, like thousands of people editing the same document. You need a way to track who changed what, when they changed it, and how to undo disasters. Most version control systems at the time worked like a filing cabinet. There's one master copy locked in a drawer, and if you want to make changes, you check it out, literally like a library book. While you have it, nobody else can touch it. Slow, painful. And if that filing cabinet catches fire, you're done. Everything's gone. Linus said screw that. Git works like everyone has a photocopier. You don't check out the master copy. You photocopy the entire filing cabinet and take it home. Now you've got every document, every page, every edit ever made. You can work offline. You can experiment. You can burn your copy and start over. And here's the magic. When you're done, you don't mail back your changes. You mail back instructions for how to recreate your changes. That's a commit. It's not the new document, it's the recipe. But wait, if everyone has a full copy, doesn't that take up massive storage? Not really, because Git doesn't store files. It stores snapshots. Think of it like those flipbook animations. You don't redraw the entire scene every frame. You only draw what changed. Git takes a picture of your project every time you commit, but it only saves the differences. If a file didn't change, it just points back to the old version. Boom. You've got the entire history without the bloat. Now, here's where Git gets wild. Remember that photocopy? You can split it. You can create a branch, which is just a label pointing to a specific snapshot. It's like putting a bookmark in your flipbook and saying, I'm going to try a different ending from here. You're not copying the whole book. You're just marking a spot. And because it's so cheap, literally just a 41-byte file, developers started branching for everything. New feature? Branch. Bug fix? Branch. Experiment? Branch. Git made branching so fast that it changed how people code. So how does Git keep track of all this chaos? Every single thing in Git, every commit, every file, every change, gets a unique fingerprint. It's called a SHA-hash, and it's a 40-character code that's mathematically guaranteed to be unique. Think of it like a barcode. If even one letter in your code changes, the hash changes completely. This means Git can instantly tell if two commits are identical just by comparing hashes. No need to read the whole file. Just check the barcode. That's why Git is so fast at finding changes. But here's the real genius move. Because everyone has a full copy, there's no single point of failure. If GitHub explodes tomorrow, and I mean literally catches fire, every developer who ever cloned a repo has the entire history on their laptop. The project survives. Compare that to the old filing cabinet model, where the master copy was everything. Git made version control indestructible by making it redundant. And that's why Linus built it in 10 days. He didn't need perfection. He needed survival. So yeah, Git was built in 10 days because Linus had no choice. But it survived because it made the right bets. Distributed copies, cheap branches, speed over safety. And now it's the backbone of basically every software project on Earth. But here's the thing we glossed over. When you push your code to GitHub, how does GitHub know it's really you? How does it stop someone from impersonating you and pushing malicious code? That's not a Git problem. That's an Shesh problem. And that rabbit hole we're going down next.